Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Wow, we have your political questions that you sent in. And yes, I got back from my event. And yes, I did take a break. I recorded those videos back to back, and then I published them in the reverse order. So yeah, while you were watching those videos, I was eating chocolate laying on the couch. So I'm all good. Now, we're going to get to your questions here, and we're going to start off with Marilyn Monroe. I freaking love that. I don't know how I put that number one, but it is number one. Hello, Marilyn Monroe from the grave, or not, depending on what kind of conspiracy theorist you are. Okay, let's see. Marilyn Monroe's question is, was the Israeli security that would have been responsible for detecting Hamas military movement paid off? And by whom? To look the other way. No, they weren't. I know this seems like the biggest security breach, and honestly, it is, I think, one of the biggest security breaches in history the last 100 years, the guides are saying, for sure, the last 80 years. Israel is known for their amazing intelligence and their military and, all of that. I mean, they're known for that. They're a world power in those areas. No one was paid off. This is, you couldn't pay off an Israeli military person. There's not enough money in the world. It's deep, y'all. That commitment is like in their skin. It's kind of a cult, but you couldn't pay them off. No, I really do believe that the Hamas got top secret, the guides want to correct me because I know there's different levels of secret, top secret information regarding the weaknesses of the Israeli military, meaning they were just saying to me that Netanyahu, when he got in, he moved a lot of the Israeli military outposts or commanders or whatever from those areas closer to the settlements. And this top secret information was leaked. It was found out. It wasn't, okay, let me rephrase this. Right. Okay. It wasn't leaked by military, but there are spies in the camp. There are people who are working with nations and sort of like this black market spy trade that it makes sense now that I'm saying it, but I wasn't really consciously aware of it. But there's this black market spy trade, you can go and buy secrets. And we all know this is going to be no surprise that Trump was sharing secrets with everybody, and Jared Kushner was sharing secrets with everybody. I'm just going to throw allegedly in there, but so this information was gotten from other governments, and those governments, along with some people in Israel, were able to put it all together. So for instance, they're saying it wouldn't have been actionable if they just had the spy secrets that they bought off the black market. But that information, along with the person on the ground who could verify, yes, this is really happening, made it all come together. And this was years in the making, but it all culminated at that time. That's when everything fell into place and they got the green light to go. It's a very complicated situation. You probably saw my video yesterday on this, and I would definitely suggest that you watch that. There's another question further down about how long this war is going to take. I think I'm going to move on and get to that question when I get to it. Okay, thank you for your question. Jewel 58 says, what were Xi and Putin meeting about? So the leader of China and the leader of Russia. And the guides, when I copied this question, I copy them from YouTube onto a Word document just so that I can read them easier. The guides said saving their asses. That's what the guides said, not covering their asses, saving their asses. Now don't take that to mean exactly what it sounds like, because this is an extremely complicated situation with many layers. China is in no way, shape, or form anything like Russia. China is going to be able to pull themselves out of this spiral that they're in not without consequences. But Russia is going to have major consequences. And I think that, and I've talked about this a lot, but I see Russia, eventually I see Putin going down. I see a junta, they're saying it again, meaning like a war general or something like that, takes over. And this person could be indebted to a war. It could be an oligarch, but who is indebted or being controlled by a war general. So these things might not all be on the surface. So you might see this and think, well, that didn't happen. I'm trying to teach you guys. I'm going to do this when we talk about the speaker in the United States House of Representatives. I'm going to teach you guys how to look under the surface and how to see the players. We don't want to just know the outcome, because the outcome can change because of free will. We want to know what's causing the outcome. Once we understand what's causing the outcome, then we have a better idea of predicting the outcome. Okay. So here, Xi and Putin needs him. Putin needs saving. This is what I'm channeling right now is it's a last ditch effort by Putin to go to China and say, broker a deal. Help us, help me. Putin is saying, basically, without saying it in actual words, his meaning is help me save face. Help me save face. And that means help me stay a leader. Help me stay the leader of Russia. Putin still thinks, and when you get to these levels of power, you have this kind of unimaginable, hubris, right? You really do, because you've survived so many things that could have taken you out, either physically or out of your leadership. And so when they get to these top levels of power, they really believe that they can pull off anything. They truly believe in miracles. So, and I think there's a reason the guides use miracle, right? Because I don't see this. Putin has the energy suggests he's run his course. He's run his race. His race is ending. And I think what I see for Xi, if I'm saying his name right, the leader of China, is that he's not trying to save Putin. He's trying to save Russia, because Russia is his ally and he needs Russia. It's almost like a balancing act that we have China and Russia to put pressure on the United States, right? Or the West, as it were. And he needs Russia. He needs to know that Russia is in his pocket. He needs to know that Russia is, he can count on Russia. Okay. So that's what's happening. They're trying to save their butts in different ways. China's trying to save their butt. They've got a huge real estate crash happening. They're going to have an economic crash, and that's not going to be good for the rest of the world, to be honest with you. I saw India and I saw manufacturing. So what can happen is, with these crashes, you could have industries that support and provide goods to the world kind of just disappear, crumble. It's almost as if they were made of, they're not real, right? They're shaky enterprises, and they're just going to fall apart, much like a lot of China's buildings are just falling down because there was actually grift, there was payoffs. It's a communist country or whatever they want to call themselves, but money's king everywhere, right? So it turns out there was a lot of grift, and none of these things are real. Like their real estate market's not real. Their industry, their manufacturing industry is not real. And the guides are showing me, you'll know maybe that in the past, we often hear about some Chinese business person being put in jail, right? For crimes or grift. And I think from a Western standpoint, we think, well, that they're just, that's probably not true. They're probably just trying to take that person's money, you know what I mean, and throw them in jail. But I think there is a lot of grift. I'm seeing it now. And I think China's on shaky ground. And I think that could reverberate back to the West, in the sense that we count on China for parts for our automobiles, our phones, so many things that we really can't operate without. So there's a sense behind the curtain in this conversation. And believe me, these two men are not sharing their vulnerabilities. They're not over there saying, holy crap, they're not doing that. I'm reading their energy behind the scenes, right? What those two men are doing are bluffing each other. I'm fine. And Xi is saying, I'm fine. And Putin is saying, I can do this for you. It's the same old thing, right? With the men that get together and they just got to bluff their egos. But that's what's happening. I do see somebody asked in this list, is Putin going to be exiting our physical plane of existence? And of course he is. We all are. But he does have doubles. I think that same person or somebody else asked about body doubles. You can tell they're not good. They're not good ones. Melania has body doubles. I'm a photographer, right? Well, I guess I am a photographer. Once a photographer, always a photographer. I would retouch people's faces where I would blow their teeth up to be, as big as a dinner plate and literally go in and really refine and retouch their teeth. I know, right? I can look at a smile from a Melania and a smile from a double and tell you the teeth are different. And you can't fake that. They didn't try to fake. You could fake it, but they didn't try to fake it. So yeah, Putin has doubles. When he was recently at some event and he was walking a pretty good distance, like maybe even 10 yards. And that's not typical. They don't show him walking very much. And the guy had this bizarre country hiccup walk. And I was like, that's not Putin. So it's all smoke and mirrors. It really is. But Putin is on his way out. He's run his race. His time here is over. I feel like the eclipse we just had on the 15th or 14th of October is sort of the death nail. And I don't know if I meant that physically. But I guess I said it. So I feel like 6 months, the things that were put in place by the eclipse are going to sort of culminate 6 months from now. So I don't know if May is 6 months from now, but I'm getting May and June. I think you're going to see a big change in Russia, in Russian leadership. Okay, let me move on. Christine Brock says, will the court case against Jim Jorden will the first court case against Jim Jorden be Ohio or January 6th? Ohio or January 6th? Right now, today, I get January 6th. I feel that it was recently, and I was out of the news for 6 days, and I feel like I was nice and clean, and I then got rolled around in the dirt last night when I got back into the news. But I understand that Jack Smith has pulled back on one of his charges for Trump. Nothing serious, nothing that we care about, to be honest with you. But what it means is it's not bad. It actually means that he's strengthening the charges that he has. So sometimes they just, put a blanket of charges out there. You know what I mean? Let's see which one of these, because then you have discovery. Then you can get some information from the other side. And it also gives you more reason to be investigating, gives you more investigative powers. I don't know what they're saying. So what that means is he's saying, okay, these aren't going to work as well, but these are going to pay off to Papa. So he's strengthening the ones he has. I feel really good about it. And I think that in that way that he's laser focusing on these charges, I feel like Jim Jorden is involved in those. So I think Jan 6 is going to happen first. This energy is changing. Let me take this moment to say that a commenter said something about the energy, and the guides told me, and I think this is such an important thing for us all to know, that humans in general are like a pinball machine. I'm sure all of us have seen a pinball machine. The ball goes up and then hits a buzzer and lights up, and then hits this and rings, and then hits this and buzzes. And the ball, as long as the ball is in play, you're getting points, right? Humans are a pinball in a pinball machine. We're simply zigzagging around, getting shocked and buzzed and rang and shook. We're not coming down to the chute. Okay? Humans, they're talking about worldwide humans here. So please take this opportunity, take every opportunity to ground yourself. Take a bath, take a shower, Get your grounding rocks, get your grounding crystals, get into nature, do whatever you need to do to ground. And I mentioned this yesterday, eating is grounding. So be careful. If you're eating a lot more, it means that you're ungrounded, that you're just like all over the place. You can also be at risk for more accidents, auto accidents, physical accidents, tripping, falling. You're not in your body. Okay. We need to get back in our body. We don't want to be in our body because this is a hellscape right now, right? It's a terrible place to be. To be connected to Earth doesn't feel safe for us. So we're out. Okay. Well, let's be in our body and connect to things that are safe. Let's connect to Mother Earth and nature and those kinds of things. Okay. Let's move on. Why did I say that? I said that because humans can change this dynamic. Ohio could come first because as Jack is laser focusing in, what he's doing now is he's going back over his witness list. He's going back over his evidence. He's going back over his corroborating witnesses. He's tightening everything. Everything is going to be tightened and tightened and tightened, and the screws tightened. And while he's doing that, if something, that corroborating witness could get a threat or get an illness or fall out a window, and then he's got to find another corroborating witness. That part of the case is not as strong. If that happens, then the case is going to get pushed back, and then Ohio can come forward. So do you understand why sometimes we can't say exactly what's going to happen? But I want to teach you how the energy is affecting these things. Okay. Whew. All right. The energy is strong today. Let's move on. Okay. Next question is by Alloway Girl and Smudgy. Maybe you're doing this for Smudgy. I don't know. Maybe Smudgy's your alter ego. I don't know. I'm not judging. Okay. When will Jim Jorden be pegged for his part in the Jan 6 jacking, i.e. jacking the office emergency alarms? I'm gonna stay with Jim Jorden for just a second, even though God knows I don't want to. I just connected with his energy. Oh my God. Okay. I did not put the energetic hazmat suit on fast enough. Wow. That is some gross energy. Okay. We should all feel a lot better about ourselves is what I'm getting right now. My God. Okay. I'm just going to try to get it together here. Okay. Here's the thing with Jim Jorden is somebody else asked this question, probably like 2 questions down. He looks bad. He looks sick to me. When I finally turned on the news yesterday, he looks pale. He looks bad. And somebody else mentioned that same thing in here. He doesn't look well. He looks thin, but his color is way off. It's pasty. So that's one thing. Another thing, I feel like what he's going to face besides Jan 6, there's some kind of money coming for him, not in a good way, not a windfall, money, karmic money problems. And, these people that have these powerful positions, they often don't want to lose their money. Like that means more than anything. Like even if he did 6 months in prison, like Weisselberg did, you come out, you got your money. You know what I mean? The money is everything. The money is his legacy to his family. So really the best way to hit them in some aspects is through their wallet. Same thing with Trump. Take all his money. It's going to kill him. It's so much better than putting him in prison. If you put him in prison, people are going to send him money, right? So I see for Jim Jorden, I see money. I see big grift money, potentially, allegedly fraudulent, maybe allegedly insider trading. What is that? I don't know. Rico. I've always seen him part of the Rico thing down in Atlanta. He's got demons coming for him. And I think that somehow they're eating him from the inside out. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like this energy has lodged in his body, and he may be experiencing the early onset of some sort of very serious illness. Maybe like a cancer, like a pancreatic cancer, or some kind of, I don't know, y'all, maybe not pancreatic, but in the sense that pancreatic is very deadly. There's a maybe lungs. I don't know. I'm not wishing this on this man. I honestly wishing peace and happiness on him, because if he would just allow his soul light to grow and turn away from the grift and the negative energy, he could really be a bright light. He could really help us. So I really wish he would do that. But just reading his energy, something is really wrong here. It's in his trunk. I don't know. It goes all the way down to his root chakra. So I don't know. But so he's not going to get pegged. I don't see him getting rung up as that's what the guides always want to use, meaning indicted for that kind of thing. It's petty. I mean, I know y'all get mad, call 1-800-SPIRIT guides, press 1 for complaints, but it is petty. Jack Smith needs something big. That is not enough. Jack Smith is not going to ring this man up over that, even though I know it's not petty. I know it was dangerous. I know all those things. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. Okay. So there, and I take this opportunity to tell you guys, because they told me this morning to help me. These people are not going to get charged with all the things they should get charged with. So just get over that right now. Just get over it. Go sit down, have a hissy fit, roll around on the floor, cry, scream, kick the wall. Get it out of your system. Okay. Because they're not going to be charged with things they should have been charged with. They're going to be charged with things that we can nail their butts to the wall with. Okay. That's what we have to do here. That's why Jack Smith is in charge. Garland was running down all the details. He was getting lost in the minutia. You know what I mean? He was really getting lost. He wasn't able to laser focus in and come up with 5 charges. 5 charges. Because there were 150 that these people could have been brought up on. But that's not going to work. We're never going to get through the justice system. Never. 5 is too many. We need 3. We need 1. We need 1 to put these people in prison, right? So hopefully that helps. That makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to Dolores Evans. Says her question is about Israel's war. Will it continue for a long period of time? And when the U.S. get more involved? Without a speaker, can we get more involved? Well, we can't, because the House of Representatives declares war. However, you might remember all the wars we had that weren't wars, like the Vietnam War and the Korean War, and they went around Congress. So the war this is a super hot energy. Okay, the best I can tell you right now is there's an opportunity for some sort of ceasefire that could arise between now and the end of the year. That it's an opportunity. It's not guaranteed, because a lot of things have to happen. And you better believe that Biden and Blinken and everybody are doing what they can behind the scenes to make this happen. So that's really good news. It's harder than you ever even imagined, because the Israelis don't believe. In the past, when we've had ceasefires, according to the Israelis, the Palestinians have fired on them. There's no trust anywhere. So this is difficult. This is a difficult thing. But I think that there's energy around a ceasefire towards the end of the year. Now, if that doesn't work, if that doesn't stick, and there's reasons why it wouldn't. Again, we said yesterday in the video about this very topic, Iran has something to gain here. They have something to gain with a hot war in the Middle East. There are people that have something to gain, including all the countries that are selling defense, publicly or under the table. They're all going to be making more bucks with this war. So there's a lot of people who want the war. And somebody else asked another question. I don't see, for some reason, why I don't understand any of this. And I think it helps me be a better reader, because I don't know anything. I can come at it with a blank mind. My brain cannot accidentally get involved because I don't know. But I don't understand why the Palestinians are sort of pariahs with Egypt or with other countries that you would think would offer them a place to, leave, evacuate, leave. But no one's opening their doors for them. And I don't understand that. I might have to ask that question specifically so I can get the answer. So there's lots of issues here. I do see a peace accord. I do see a peace accord of some kind. I just don't know if it lasts. And I can see this hot war. They just want to call it a hot war. I wish they wouldn't. I can see this conflict happening for months and months. And then if that happens, the only thing that stops it is humanity, is seeing, Israel. And I'm not saying there's a right and a wrong side here, okay? But Israel has more weapons, bigger weapons, and they will pulverize those settlements to nothing. And it's almost like the energy suggests that when you lose your temper and you do something while you're losing your temper and you black out, you black out, you don't know what you did. And when you kind of come to your senses and you see what you did, you're a little horrified. You're a little astonished and horrified that you did that because you didn't think it was in you to do it. This is the energy. If we don't get this peace accord, that's the energy that I feel is coming from Israel. And when they wake up and see what they've done, and the world sees what has happened, that's when real change can happen. We talk a lot to you guys about hitting rock bottom. You have to hit rock bottom sometimes before you can make a change. That's going to be rock bottom. The world is going to be horrified. And honestly, Israelis are going to be horrified. And that opens the door for the two-state solution, because something has to be done. I'm going to move on. Let's see. We have another question about Trump's health. Okay. MMM. That's like M&Ms. That makes me want to eat M&Ms. Okay. Never mind. Please ask the guides about Trump's health. He doesn't look very healthy to me right now. Also, what's going to happen with Tuberville. Trump is another one. I saw him yesterday and his face looked long. It didn't look swollen or jowly. It looked long. It looked, I don't know. I was trying to decide, is it me? Is it the camera? Has there something been done to this picture? There's something weird about his energy. And I've always gotten that Putin and Trump are energetically tied. When one crosses over, the other one is not far behind. I don't see them going necessarily at the same time or even days apart, but months apart or weeks apart. I see one. It's almost like if you tied two balls together and you tossed a ball over a ledge, well, the other ball is going to follow it. That's the energy. So yeah, I don't think he's well. I've told you guys, we've read that he will not last. He will not stay on this physical plane past his first conviction. I'm not even sure he'll get to his trial date. I've done videos where I've told you guys I'm mad because I want my justice, right? But there's reasons for all of this, and I think they're good reasons, and I think we have to trust. Okay. So your other question is Tuberville. Tuberville, the guides were talking to me about this. And for those of you, I don't know, do we have snapping turtles all over the United States? I don't know. But in the South, of a snapping turtle, how you're raised as a kid is they say, if you get bit by a snapping turtle, it's not going to let go until a thunderclap. You know what I mean? Like basically you're going to have to stand there until it storms or something. But it is true. The snapping turtles grab a hold of your hand or whatever. They don't let go. They don't let go. That's the energy of Tuberville. That's actually the energy of DeJoy. That's the energy of McConnell. It's like these people have gotten some sort of instruction manual. And I mean, seriously, an instruction manual. Like they've been indoctrinated or whatever to say, we're not going to win this, right? We don't have enough votes. We don't have enough support. The average people the majority do not support us. Therefore, if we get into a position of power, we have to just be tenacious, and we just have to not let go. We just have to stand there and block. That's all we can do. We can't be offensive. We're being defensive. We're blocking. Okay. That's the energy of Tuberville. He doesn't care. He does not care about his legacy. He does not care about a GD thing, is what the guides just said. And that's from him. He doesn't care. What he cares about is dismantling. It's also the energy of that guy, Flynn. It's the energy of Flynn. It's this energy of anarchy, of dismantling the United States democracy so that there's mayhem, anarchy, and then there can be military martial law, and then martial law locks everything down, and then you have, what they want is an oligarchy, or something like that. They want a ruling class, right? So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to shut us down. They're trying to dismantle us. And that's what Tuberville's doing. And I don't see him stopping. And oftentimes the guides have said, these people, whoever gave these guys, these people, and there's women too, these instruction manuals, they studied all the rules of the Senate, all the rules of the House, all our Constitution, amendments, backwards, forwards, upside down. And they know where those little weak spots are that aren't very defined. Tuberville is exasperating one of those weak spots. It is not defined. We don't really have a way. I take that back. We have a way of addressing him, but to do so, we would have to use this parliamentary way of doing it. We would have to utilize a unique structure for each one of those people that he's blocked. And to do that, to go around Tuberville, would take like 3 days per person or something like. It would take an inordinate amount of time to go and get each one of those people passed. There is a way around it. Now that I'm in this energy, I can see the problem was that we should have gone around him the second time he did that, not the 100th time or the 200th time. Now it's too late. We cannot do it. We cannot go through and approve all of these people. It would take years, they're saying, to go through the parliamentary, going around thing. So what is our lesson here? Freaking A, to stand up to these bullies. When they block somebody for no reason, go around them. And also, listen, the House of Representatives is getting a pretty good lesson right now that nothing happens if we don't have bipartisanship. Look what's happening right now with the speaker, right? Nothing is happening because we don't have bipartisanship. So we're all taking our medicine. We're all getting our lessons. And then I see after this kind of meat grinder of lessons, which goes throughout December and into January, then somebody on the Republican side says, Uncle, get rid of these crazy people. We want to work some deals. We want to get some things done. Okay. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to have a speaker till January. I'm going to answer that question in just a second. I'm just saying that that's the energy behind what's happening. Okay, let me move on. And Dawn of a Blue Day says, there are reported rumblings on the GOP side of maybe 5 votes for Jeffries for speaker. So let's talk about the speaker. Barb Mecca says this is the second vote but this was a few days ago. She's asking, will he continue running for speaker? Will it be like McCarthy with 15 tries, right? And then we have some other, okay, yeah, let's just go with that. Let's go with the speaker question. Okay, what is happening is you have like, say, 20 plus Republicans who are refusing to vote for Jim Jordan. Like they finally, what is happening behind the scenes in the Republican Party is this. They are realizing they're about to lose everything. They're about to lose all their elections for the next year. potentially even lose elections all the way into 28. Okay, they are losing everything. They're at this precipice where they're starting to realize, if we're not careful, we're going to go over this cliff with these dummies. We've sworn our allegiance to them, but it hasn't paid off. They're starting to wake up from their fever dream and put like they say, count the votes. They're starting to say, this isn't working. We're going to go down. And not only me and my seat, but the whole Republican Party is going to go down. They're just now waking up to that. And where they are right now is like when you're and they want to show me a room. They're being held captive in a room. Okay. And they're realizing that they're held captive. Like they thought all this time they could easily walk out the door and do whatever they wanted. And they're realizing they can't. They're realizing they allied, they sold their soul to the Freedom Caucus. And now they're realizing, what do we want to do about it? Do we want to go down in infamy with the Freedom Caucus? Is that what I want to do? Is that what we want to do? Or do we want to step away from them, gather ourselves together, and vote for Jeffries? Or gather ourselves together, and can we manage some sort of moderate speaker? You know, what they started talking about yesterday is having the speaker pro tem become the speaker, because there's this sense of, we need to put somebody as speaker who is neutral, who's not on their side or our side, somebody that we can get a few votes of the Freedom Caucus to support. Because I don't know that the Republicans have enough votes on their own. I mean, they're literally in a bad place. They're in a bad place. They don't have enough votes to do anything, because there's enough Freedom Caucus people that are like Tuberville, that are like snapping turtles. They're dug in. They don't care. They literally don't care about democracy. They don't care about the Constitution. They're not patriots. They're not citizens. They're not. Okay. So now the Republicans are like, holy, you know what? We're screwed. And they're trying, these 20 people or 22 or however many there are of them, they're the breach. They're the breach. They're in the breach. They're trying to stop the Republican Party from going over the edge. They're trying to give enough time so that they can wean a few more of these kind of lily-livered, this is the word they want to use, lily-livered people, meaning, wimpy people that won't stand up to the Freedom Caucus. They're trying to lure them. They're trying to say, we can do this. We need to take our medicine. Maybe we need to vote for Jeffries. But that energy feels like trying to coerce or buy off an Israeli army person. And there's nothing there. There's no energy there that they can do. They just can't do it. They would rather throw up in the corner. That's the energy is. They cannot force themselves to vote for Jeffries. Now, they're also not in enough pain yet. Okay. The screws are getting tighter and tighter and tighter as we get closer to having our government shut down again. They're starting to realize that the average American is going to blame them for not being leaders. What can they run on? They've got nothing to run on. They run on this law and order leadership and getting things done and taking care of things. Y'all, that's out the window. They got no marketing. It's over. So as the screws get tighter and tighter and tighter, meaning the time keeps passing, I feel like the energy suggests, like I see this energy getting tighter and just squeezing. I see this thing pops out of this ball that's getting squeezed. You know what I mean? And it could be the speaker pro tem. I saw him pop out of there. But it could also be what's her name? Stefanik. It could be anybody. It could be anybody that's not a Freedom Caucus member. They just need a body. They need a warm body in there, because they've got to stop the energetic bleeding. They've got to stop the pain. They're at a place now where they're not trying to put a strategic person in there. Okay, do you understand? They just need to put a Republican in there. Any Republican that they can get votes for is who they will put in there. And because these 20 diehard Republicans, and we should look up their names, they're even playing this game. We have the information. This is not from the guides. This is from people that are really crack, House political reporters, that these 20 people are staggering their votes. So every time Jim Jordan gets a vote, he gets less votes. So it looks like he's not gaining a majority. He's losing his majority. They're doing that on purpose. They're actually staggering their votes to inflict more pain to him and to the Freedom Caucus. They're trying to push these people out of the way to save their own butts. Does all that make sense? So I can't say never, but there's more chance of McCarthy getting back in there as speaker, because all in all, he got a deal done with Biden. He works with Biden. We got to get another deal done with Biden, or else the whole government's going to come to a stop. And he's wishy-washy. He's not a threat. He's not a threat. So you might see McCarthy get back in there, or an outsider. They are talking about Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz might throw his hat in the ring, and we told you that Jorden was going to be the speaker, and look at the energy trying to make him the speaker. The energy suggested he would be speaker, and look at him trying to be the speaker. So now you can understand when we predict things, I'm predicting the energy. The energy's behind Jorden. Okay. He didn't make it. He's not going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. But it's ugly. In that chamber, those people are knives out fighting each other. It's a fight for power. It's a fight for the Republican Party, for the future of the Republican Party. Will the Republican Party literally mold itself completely into a Freedom Caucus party, or will they bring themselves back to some semblance of normalcy? That it's no less than that right now in the Republican Party. I did a whole video on that says the end of the Republican Party. We are here. This is now. It cannot continue to operate like this. The House of Representatives anyway. And of course, the Senate, clutching their pearls, they're all clutching their pearls over there going, my God, what is happening over there? Because the Senate is so rule bound and hide bound. And all of those senators have been there for 30 years and they would never, do something so embarrassing and shocking, but change is coming to them too. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like the other question might be, when is the government shuts down in maybe 2 weeks or something, a week and a half, 2 weeks? I feel like we will have a speaker by then. It's not tenable. The energy is not tenable. It's rending and tearing and teeth gnashing. It's horrible. These people cannot withstand this energy. It will get tightened, and something will pop out. I don't like the Speaker Pro Tem. He's angry. He's bitter. He's not a statesperson. Not that any of them are, but he would give them. It would be more fodder for Stephen Colbert and Saturday Night Live. I mean, it would be awesome just to have that kind of character in the speakers, but it wouldn't be very helpful for our country, right? So, but I do think we are going to get a new speaker, and I'll read on this again as it gets closer. Let's move on to one Inquirer. This is a really important. After this, I'm going to end this video because this is going to be a long question, and it's a really important question. And your question is about fair and balanced reporting, and apparently, and I haven't looked this up, but this is what you're saying. MSNBC has suspended the programs of 3 Muslim anchors due to the ongoing aggression in Gaza. Arab News reported, citing 2 sources. The left-leaning Nation magazine has also reported it. Now, these reporters, these programs are Mehdi Hassan, who I follow, and Ali Velshi, who I follow, and Ayman Mohidine, I don't follow. If this is really happening and I can see them, I can listen. I'm already mad at the media for reporting that erroneous information about the bombing of the hospital. It's disinformation. Oh, right. That's right. I also want to say that those of you that's watched a long time, you know that I have these political spirit guides that are over here on my right. And you also know that I have Edward R. Murrow, who was a distinguished journalist, and he's a chain smoker. And I've been wondering why he's here, because he doesn't really interact with me at all. He just sits there and watches me. And now I got it. I had the epiphany today. It's because of the fake news. He's here to help me discern and report on fake news, on the prestige, the ethics of the media. This is what he cares about. He cares about the media being ethical. So he is here. And here we are with your question that MSNBC could have punished these Muslim reporters by taking their programs off the air. It's the wrong thing to do. My God, it's the wrong thing to do. And I've been very irritated with the media. If you watch me, you know that. I've been really irritated because they've been reporting from one-sided, from the Republican side, from the Trump side. They don't seem to ever get a story that balances whatever the Republicans are saying. And I've noticed this even with NPR, and it just blows my mind. And for MSNBC to fall for this, it just goes to show you, really, the pinball energy. They're not grounded. They don't know what's really happening. They're simply jerking their energy from here to here to here to here. Oh my God, we can't make Jewish people mad. Oh my God, we can't make these people mad. Oh my God, we can't make these people mad. Well, you know what? You need to do what I do. I tell you what I get. If you're mad, I give you a number to call. You know what I mean? But really, as a journalist, you really should be just reporting neutral facts. You shouldn't worry if, of course, there's going to be groups that don't like what you're reporting, that don't like what's happening in the world. But if you're honest and factual, then you just got to stand by that. You don't curtail your reporting because somebody's going to get mad at you. How do we get here, right? How do we get here? Where's Walter Cronkite, right? Where's Edward R. Murrow? Well, what's happening, and the guides have said this before, they're telling me, is that we're all going to go offline. We're not going to watch MSNBC. And I don't watch MSNBC. I am in the hellscape that is called Twitter, now X. It is a hellscape. Truly it is, because there's so much disinformation going on there. You can barely use it. But what I love about it is that I don't want to, I'm in a place now, I don't want to hear a journalist or a news anchor parrot something that their corporation wants me to hear. I don't care. I want to go listen to the general. I want to go listen to that person in Ukraine. I want to go listen to that person in Israel, in Palestine. I want to listen to that historian. I want to listen to that ex-CIA person. I go straight to the source. I also understand this is their opinion. We have to bring our own discernment to everything. But what I like about Twitter is that if somebody puts something out there, the next post will be, prove it. I swear to you, prove it. And that poster will have to present a video or some kind of, like you did in your thing. This is where I'm getting this. You quoted your sources. This is where we're going. If the media cannot give us news we can trust, we'll find it where we want to and where we can. Now, There might be a new Twitter, there might be a new source, but I that's where I'm at. I like to go right to the source. And I also like to source my media in multiple places. So if I hear something from, let's say, Mehdi Hassan, I'm going to go over here to this person who's maybe Jewish. This is where we are, folks. We cannot just sit there and be spoon-fed information, because you're going to be lied to. You're going to be lied to. So we have to take it upon ourselves to source the information better. And I'll go one more. The guides are saying you're gonna tune up your intuition, and you don't even have to try, because the earth is ascending, your energy is ascending, and your intuition is going to ascend. It's going to get better and better. So trust. When you're watching somebody and you get the impression, or you hear the words, or you have a knowing, or whatever, they're lying. Take that to the bank and deposit it. Okay. So don't think that this is more work, or I'm upset because I can't trust anybody. This is our lesson. This is our lesson. Trust, but verify. Okay. With that, I'm going to end this video. And I will do more videos, because there's tons more things going on, and there's great questions below this question. More questions on the Supreme Court. Will there be any changes to the members of the Supreme Court between now and 2024? Another question about Jack Smith. Another question about Ukraine. Get an update on Ukraine. What is happening there, right? There's so many good questions here. I will follow this up with another video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take really, really, really good care of yourselves. Remember, you're probably not very grounded right now. So do what you can to get grounded. Go to YouTube, watch grounding guided meditations. They're all over the place. Google how to ground my energy. Do whatever you need to do, right? There's many, many ways you can ground, okay? It would be really helpful for you to do so. Withdraw from the news, shine your soul light. That is how we get out of this mess, is through our own personal soul light, raising our vibration. We don't want to be in the dirt and mud with these people. What is that going to do? That's not going to help anybody. Don't go there. Put a bubble around yourself. In that bubble, create beauty, whether that's through music or sound or videos or meditation or your grandkids or your pets or nature. Get in your bubble, stay in your bubble more and more and more as we go through this. Yes, you can peek out of your bubble and see what kind of mayhem is going on, but just know that you're not abdicating anything. You're not sticking your head in the sand. That is not, let me tell you the difference. Sticking your head in the sand is drinking to cover up all of this mess, taking pills to cover up all of this mess, working 80 hours a week to cover up all this mess. That's sticking your head in the sand. If you're enriching and nourishing yourself by binge watching old movies that make you laugh or make you cry, that's nourishment. If you're playing with your pets, that's nourishment. If you're taking naps, that's nourishment. Okay, so that's the difference between sticking your head in the sand and nourishing your body. Nourishing your body allows your energy to flow out to the world. Let's do that. Take really good care of yourselves. We'll talk soon. For entertainment purposes only.